In the summer of 1940, amidst the chaos of World War II and the Nazi occupation of Denmark, an unusual and perplexing event unfolded. That afternoon, beneath a bright, clear sky, a 15-year-old boy made his way from Kongens Tisted towards Tisbjerg, a small hill nestled among grassy meadows and heather-covered moorland. His task was simple: fill the water troughs for the cows grazing in the area. But as he followed the path north of the hill, something caught his eye. 3 men approaching from the northeast, walking side by side through the heather. From a distance, they appeared human, but as they drew closer, the boy realized their attire was unlike anything he had ever seen. They wore form-fitting, dark green suits that shimmered with an almost silky sheen, sealing tightly at the neck. Matching helmets, snug against their heads, featured large, transparent visors resembling glass. Strangest of all were the 2 tube-like protrusions running from their feet up to their shoulders along the outside of their suits. No buttons, no zippers, no pockets, just a seamless, futuristic design. Even their feet were encased in the same material, making it unclear if they wore shoes at all. The men moved with normal strides, swinging their arms slightly as they walked. Their build and height were unremarkable, completely human in proportion. And yet, something about them unsettled the boy. Who were these mysterious figures? What were they doing here, in such a remote area? His first thought was that they might be mechanics of some kind, perhaps involved in a military project. But then, just 30 meters away, the trio abruptly changed course, veering southward as if deliberately avoiding him. A chill ran through him. Fear and curiosity battled within, but curiosity won. He dashed up the hill to get a better view. From his vantage point, he watched as the man closest to the hill stumbled slightly before catching up with the others. They continued moving together, heading toward a lower area of the moorland. And that's when he saw it. Roughly 200 meters away, nestled in the heather, was a gleaming dome-shaped craft. Sunlight glinted off its metallic surface. It lacked wings, windows, or landing gear, nothing resembling a conventional aircraft. Yet its size seemed comparable to a German fighter plane. Given the Nazi occupation, the boy immediately wondered, could this be some secret German technology? And were these men military pilots? He watched intently as the 3 figures approached the craft. They stopped for a brief moment, standing still in front of it. Then, without warning, they vanished. Stunned, the boy's mind reeled. He had expected them to enter through a hatch, but they simply disappeared. Before he could process what he had seen, the craft itself began to move. It ascended slowly at first, silently, before suddenly accelerating at an astonishing speed. Within seconds, it had become nothing more than a tiny speck in the sky. As it shot off into the distance, the only sound was a sharp, swift swoosh, like the snap of a fishing rod slicing through the air. Shaken, the boy ran to the landing site. The tall heather, recently pressed down, was slowly rising back to its original form. Yet there were no visible burn marks, no indentations in the earth, nothing to suggest that anything had ever been there. On his way home, his mind raced with possibilities. He had seen German aircraft at Aalborg airfield before, but never anything like this. No wings, no engines, just an otherworldly craft moving at impossible speed. When he arrived home, he told his mother what he had witnessed. Her response was swift and firm. It was probably the Germans. "You must never speak of this again. If you do, they may come for you." And so he kept silent. Decades later, long after the war had ended, he stumbled upon reports of UFOs. It was then that he began to wonder, had he witnessed something far beyond human technology? In 1974, more than 30 years after the event, he finally shared his story with UFO investigators. Skeptics may argue that memories fade, that details become distorted over time. But those who have experienced something truly extraordinary often recall it with vivid clarity as if it had happened only yesterday. So what did he really see that day? Were these visitors from another world? Or was there a more earthly explanation? Rumors persist that Nazi Germany, through the secretive Thule Society, had already developed anti-gravity technology before World War II. Some claim they were experimenting with flying saucers, operating top-secret aircraft that defied conventional aviation. Was this one of those machines? Or was it something else entirely? We may never know.